Today we're going to look at open a can of worms. What does that mean? Open a can of worms. Open a can of worms. Worms. 今日の勉強は Open a can of worms. それはどういう意味ですか? Open a can of worms means to create a complicated situation by doing something to correct a problem that leads to more problems. We have some problem. To solve this problem, I do something, but inadvertently, without planning, it becomes even more complicated. I add complication to a problem by trying to solve it. Is open a can of worms. Open a can of worms を日本語で言うと、問題を解決するために行動するけれども、その行動をしてからもっと複雑で困難な状態になる。解決したかったけれども、実際はその逆にもっと複雑になった。のは Open a can of worms. Open a can of worms originates from fishermen. When fishermen go fishing, they used to get live worms in a can, actually in a can. When they open the can opens and the worms start escaping from the can and going all over the place. Instead of fishing like they wanted to, they have to they have to catch all the worms and put them back in the can. It causes lots of complicated problems. These worms are quite small and go in all different directions and they're hard to catch. So we say, open a can of worms. This is good for giving advice to somebody. I wouldn't talk to her about that. That will open a can of worms. So don't talk to her about that. It's going to make the situation more difficult and more complicated. Don't open a can of worms by doing something. You shouldn't don't do something that will make the situation more complicated. Is the meaning, or is the one usage for this idiom. Looking at some examples. Number 1. I worry that changing the system will only open a can of worms. Currently, the company is using some sort of system. If they change the system, things will not get better, it will get worse. It'll be more complicated and more difficult. So this person's advice is don't change the system. And example number 2, getting into a discussion about her family will definitely open a can of worms. She has perhaps some problems with her family members. If you bring up her family or get her to talk about her family, things will become very difficult and complicated. I don't recommend you talk to her about her family. 1番目の例で、システムの変更をすれば、今より複雑で困難な状況になる。なので、しないでください。例の2番目。彼女の家族の話をすれば、確かに状況が複雑で困難な状況になる。なので、しないでください。If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below.